The new Hubble images of 3I Atlas have revealed an extraordinary and puzzling sight. Three jets, perfectly spaced at 120-degree intervals, emanating from its surface. This symmetry is so precise that it immediately challenges our conventional understanding of how comets behave. Comets, which have long been understood to release gas and dust in irregular bursts caused by the heating of their icy surfaces, typically exhibit jets that are lopsided or asymmetrical. The jets from 3I Atlas, however, are so perfectly arranged that they seem almost engineered. This level of symmetry is rare in nature and suggests that what we are seeing is not the typical outgassing pattern of a comet, but possibly something far more complex. Could this alignment be a product of design rather than a random chaotic event caused by solar heating and surface irregularities? The phenomenon doesn't stop at the jets. The behavior of these jets is equally puzzling. Not only are they aligned in this improbable symmetry, but they also rotate in a manner that suggests a level of control. As the object spins, the jets appear to adjust their direction in perfect coordination with the object's rotation, much like the thrusters on a spacecraft used for orientation control. This coordinated movement of the jets is something you wouldn't expect from a natural object. Most comets experience irregular bursts of gas and dust as the sun heats their surfaces, causing uneven eruptions. But the precision with which these jets rotate, maintaining their alignment, suggests that they could be part of a controlled system designed to manage the object's orientation. Could 3I Atlas be some sort of probe or a craft from an advanced civilization using these jets as a means of propulsion or navigation? Adding to the strangeness of this comet is the presence of an anti-tail, a feature that forms in the opposite direction of the object's movement. This is already unusual for a comet, as cometary tails are typically pushed away from the sun by solar radiation. However, the anti-tail seen in 3I Atlas extends directly toward the sun, which goes against the typical directionality of cometary tails. This anti-tail is highly concentrated and points in a very specific direction toward the sun, suggesting a controlled ejection of material. Unlike the more diffuse and scattered tails of other comets, the anti-tail of 3I Atlas behaves as though it is being generated by an active process, perhaps propulsion, or some other controlled mechanism. This doesn't look like the passive behavior of a comet that is simply following the laws of physics. It looks more like something is deliberately directing the movement of material. As we dig deeper into the anomalies of 3I Atlas, another significant finding comes to light: the composition of the object itself. The gas surrounding 3I Atlas is not typical of what we would expect from a comet. Instead of the usual mix of water, carbon dioxide, and other volatiles, 3I Atlas's gas plume has a surprising amount of nickel. Nickel is an industrial metal commonly used in high-performance alloys, and its presence in the gas surrounding 3I Atlas raises serious questions about its origin. Natural comets do not emit gas with this composition, so the question arises, what is the source of the nickel? Could this be a sign that the object is not simply a comet composed of ice and dust, but something engineered, perhaps using materials that we associate with technology? The presence of nickel in the gas could suggest that 3I Atlas was either intentionally manufactured or altered in ways that we don't yet understand. The mystery of 3I Atlas deepens when you consider the unusual size of the dust particles surrounding the object. Typically, cometary dust is composed of tiny, sub-micron-sized particles that are easily carried away by solar wind. However, the dust associated with 3I Atlas is much larger than what is typically seen in comets. The presence of larger particles challenges our current understanding of how comets behave, as the larger particles would be much harder to move with the force of solar wind. These larger particles might not just be a random byproduct of the object's passage through space, they might serve a purpose. Could they be part of an engineered system designed to perform some function? Perhaps the large particles are part of a shield, a layer of material protecting the object from the harsh conditions of space. Or maybe they're part of a propulsion system that requires larger, more robust particles to function. The presence of larger dust particles adds another layer of complexity to the mystery of 3I Atlas, further suggesting that it may not be a natural object at all. When you look at the trajectory of 3I Atlas, it becomes clear that its movement through the solar system is far from random. Interstellar objects are not bound by the sun's gravity in the same way that the planets are. They usually follow more erratic paths, influenced by the gravitational forces they encounter along the way. But 3I Atlas's trajectory is different. It came remarkably close to Mars and Jupiter, planets that typically wouldn't be on the path of a random interstellar object. The object's trajectory seems too precise to be purely random. It suggests that 3I Atlas might have been directed toward our solar system, or at the very least, its path could have been influenced by some sort of force other than simple gravitational interactions. This raises the possibility that 3I Atlas was not just a wandering object, but rather something that was intentionally directed to our solar system, perhaps as a probe or even as a message. The rotation of 3I Atlas introduces yet another layer of mystery to its already perplexing nature. Unlike the typical irregularities observed in the rotational axes of comets, 3I Atlas presents an exceptionally precise alignment. Its axis of rotation is positioned in such a way that it stays almost perfectly aligned with the Sun throughout its journey through the solar system. This is an extraordinary characteristic, one that goes against what we expect from natural objects like comets. In nature, comets tend to exhibit erratic rotation, with their axes pointing in random directions relative to their path through space. This randomness results from the irregular shapes of these objects, which cause their rotational axes to fluctuate due to the uneven distribution of mass. In contrast, the fact that 3I Atlas's rotation axis maintains a constant alignment with the Sun raises immediate questions about the forces at play here. What could explain such perfect alignment? If 3I Atlas were a natural body, it would be exceedingly rare, if not impossible, for its rotational axis to remain so consistently oriented with the Sun. The Sun exerts a gravitational pull on every object in the solar system, but this alone would not cause such precision. Comets, especially those on interstellar trajectories, typically experience irregular rotational movements that are the result of uneven surface heating, solar wind, and interactions with other bodies. These irregularities make it nearly impossible for a comet's rotation axis to stay perfectly aligned over long distances and extended periods of time. For 3I Atlas to maintain such an alignment, it suggests that some form of active control or design is at work, something deliberately maintaining the object's orientation. This precision in alignment is not only unusual, but could also be indicative of the object's purpose. If 3I Atlas were engineered, such precision would be vital. Perhaps its rotation has been designed to keep its instruments, sensors, or communication systems consistently aligned with the Sun. In space exploration, spacecraft are often designed with similar alignment strategies to ensure their solar panels or other critical systems remain oriented toward the Sun. This alignment maximizes the efficiency of energy collection or ensures that instruments are positioned for optimal performance. If 3I Atlas is not a comet, but a manufactured object, the possibility that this precision is part of its design becomes increasingly plausible. It could be that the object was created with a specific mission in mind, perhaps to observe the Sun or relay data back to an advanced civilization. The idea that 3I Atlas is an engineered object becomes even more compelling when we consider the additional evidence surrounding it. The perfectly aligned jets, which seem to operate in unison, the anti-tail that points directly toward the Sun, and the unusual composition of its gas plume. These features all point toward an object that is behaving in ways no natural body has been observed to behave. The large dust particles, which resist the normal forces exerted by solar wind, also suggest that the object's materials have been carefully selected or designed to perform specific functions. And then there's the trajectory. 3I Atlas's path through the solar system is far too precise to be the result of random gravitational forces. It appears to have been guided or influenced by something other than the natural laws that govern most interstellar bodies. All of these anomalies, each pointing towards something deliberate and controlled, begin to build a strong case for 3I Atlas being more than just a comet. The combination of its engineered-looking jet system, its purposeful alignment with the Sun, and its highly unusual composition strongly suggests that this object may not be a random visitor from another star system, but a product of intelligent design. Whether it's a probe, a relic of an advanced civilization, or a piece of technology left behind by some far-flung species, the possibility that 3I Atlas is a technological artifact is becoming harder to dismiss. Despite the mounting evidence, many scientists continue to maintain a cautious stance, favoring more conventional explanations for the object's anomalies. The scientific community remains divided over the true nature of 3I Atlas. Some astronomers argue that the object's strange behavior can still be explained by natural processes, such as the interaction of solar wind with a cometary body that is irregularly shaped or composed of volatile materials. They suggest that the symmetry of the jets might be the result of a particular configuration of surface features or an optical illusion caused by the viewing angle. The large dust particles, they argue, could simply be the result of typical cometary activity interacting with the solar wind, not necessarily the result of deliberate engineering. Even the alignment of the rotation axis could be explained by a natural event, albeit an extremely rare one. However, as more data is gathered and analyzed, it is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore the striking consistency and precision of 3I Atlas's behavior. The more scientists look at the object, the more anomalies they discover, and the harder it becomes to explain them away as coincidences or the result of natural processes. The very nature of 3I Atlas seems to suggest that it is operating outside the realm of what we consider normal in the universe. The precision of its rotation, the symmetry of its jets, the composition of its materials, all of these factors point towards something that has been carefully constructed, possibly with the intention of performing a specific function. As the investigation into 3I Atlas continues, the object's true nature remains a mystery. New observations, particularly from the James Webb Space Telescope and other advanced instruments, will hopefully provide more data to help scientists unravel this enigma. Whether 3I Atlas is a comet, an artificial artifact, or something else entirely, it has already forced us to rethink our assumptions about interstellar objects. It may be the first of many such discoveries, a reminder that the universe is full of surprises waiting to be uncovered. Ultimately, 3I Atlas is a phenomenon that demands our attention and further exploration. Its unusual features, ranging from its precise jet alignments to its nickel-rich gas plume, suggest that there is much more to learn about this interstellar visitor. As we continue to study it, we may uncover new layers of mystery, offering us clues about the broader universe and the possibility that we are not alone. The investigation into 3I Atlas may just be the beginning of a new era of discovery, one that challenges our understanding of space, technology, and the nature of life beyond Earth. The questions raised by this enigmatic object may never be fully answered, but they will undoubtedly shape the future of astronomy and our search for extraterrestrial intelligence.